So good morning. So this morning I'm on the Grand Union Canal. I won't tell you whereabouts because this section gets pretty heavily hammered anyway. So this morning what I want to do is I want to give you a tutorial on how to tie a Dropshot rig the way I do it. Now I know a lot of people tie their rigs using a Palomar knot, but in my opinion the Palomar knot is it's fiddly, it's annoying, it's overly complicated, and it doesn't really give the presentation that I would like. The way I do it, it's quick, it's easy, and the hook always points the right way up, which I don't know if anybody else out there has had the same problem, but I always find when I try and tie the Palomar knot, my hook ends up pointing down, and obviously is not going to work that way. So for the purpose of this video, I'm using the Esox Dropshot fluorocarbon. Now this is £6. You can use a lower breaking strain, but I find, especially on the canals where you've got a lot of snags, the possibility of the pike coming along, having something a little bit tougher just gives you that extra peace of mind. Granted, I know if a pike decides it wants to bite through this, it's going to go straight through it. But I haven't had any problems so far, so I'm pretty confident using it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off a length of line. Don't do that at home. I usually use scissors, but I forgot them with me. I forgot them at home today. Also, please bear with me. I'm videoing this on my phone because I left all my cameras at home, and home happens to be Norfolk, and I'm not in Norfolk. Right, so hooks I use are also the Esox Dropshot. You can use Fox, you can use any Dropshot hooks that you want, really. I just find the Esox ones they're a nice size, they're strong, and yeah, I have a lot of confidence in them. So I'm going to take one out, and when you guys see how I tie this rig, you're gonna see what I mean when I say it's so much easier. So obviously we have our line, we have our hook. I come a bit closer to the camera. So what I do is I slide the line through the eye of the hook, and I slide it down quite far down. Then I'm going to create a loop. So you can see all I've done is I've just folded the line over on itself with the hook in the middle of the loop. And then what I'm going to do, simply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gently start to pull the line together. Now you see already the hook's starting to stand out proud. So if I turn it over, she stands proud whichever way I pull her. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to moisten the knot before I tighten it. Again, gently pull it tight. And there you have it. That hook now will not move from that position. And yeah, you get the perfect presentation every single time. Hook's always pointing the right way up. And yeah, it's perfect. Now, there's a misconception in the lure angling world that lure fishing has to be expensive. Now, I disagree. Because, well, put it simply, I'm out today. Now, I'm not going to do any fishing on camera today because obviously I haven't got my proper cameras, but I will show you the setup I'm using, which happens to be a Shimano 10,000 Hyperloop. Nice, cheap and cheerful plastic reel. This thing, it's more of a spare reel for me. But for the purpose of showing you that you don't need expensive gear, I've brought this one out today. The rod is an NGT Dropshot rod from, I bought this one from Go Outdoors. Now, the rod itself, I think cost me 15, 20 pounds, not much. And I tell you what, it's a nice rod. For a cheap rod, this rod does everything I want it to do. It's got a good backbone to it, it's got a sensitive tip. The only thing I would like for it being a drop shot rod is that the tip would be a different color to the rest of the blank, and maybe the tip rings be a little bit wider diameter. The reason I say that is the knot where the fluorocarbon joins the braid is only a small knot. I mean, you can see it there, very neat. However, that struggles getting through the tip ring on this rod, which I find incredibly annoying, but it's something I can live with. So yeah, the reel I bought years ago, back when I was still trying to, you know, tackle myself up as a student, and yeah, I think that cost me, I think it was about £15 at the time. And that reel's got to be getting on for 11, 12 years old now. So, and it still works the same as it did that I took it out the box. So, being Shimano, you know it's going to be a good reel. So yeah, I mean, the gear works exactly how you would want it to do. You don't need to go out and splash out on expensive gear just because you want to specialize in a form of fishing. You can find the cheaper stuff. This type of fishing doesn't have to be prohibitively expensive, and I think a lot of people aren't getting into this arm of the sport because they think, oh wow, I've got to go and buy all this specialist gear. You don't need to. For example, today all I've got with me is I've got a vest pack, which is made by Sakura. I think this one cost me about £25. Not expensive. Just got a standard, you know, jacket on, pair of jeans, and that's it. Obviously, if it was cold, I'd be wearing a little bit more layers, obviously. But it's not particularly cold today. A little bit windy. I'm lucky to have found myself in a nice sheltered spot here for this video. I've got a Savage Gear net on a lanyard. The reason why I like this net is because it floats and it's got rubber mesh, so hooks don't get stuck in it. And I've got it on a elasticated lanyard, so it hangs on my back. And when I've got a fish in the net, or I want to net a fish, it's easy to just move it around. And then when you finish with it, it just goes straight back up onto your back. So let's talk about lures now. This is where the sport can start to get a little bit pricey because lures are addictive. So with me today, I've got a couple of, well, I wouldn't call it a couple, I've got a lot of lures with me. So what I'll do is I'll only show you the ones that I particularly use a lot. So let me just grab them out and then we'll talk about them. Right, so the first ones that I particularly rate are the Gunky Kiddies in the 3-inch, which is a 7.6 centimeter lure. There's two colors that I particularly rate, and that is Grameel and Ghost Brown. Now the Gunky Kitty is these little guys here. I don't know what it is, but perch just love them. I've had perch up to £3 on these little drop shot lures. I've also had zander on them, I've had pike on them, you name it. I've had chub on them. Yeah, they're just a brilliant all-round lure. So if you're going to get into something like drop shot, these are a must-have in your box or in your bag or in your vest, whatever you want to take with you. They only cost about £3 a pack, so they're not going to break the bank, but they're worth having. Another one, slightly bigger lure, and that is, now you guys are going to start to notice the pattern here. It's the Esox Dropshot split tail in pearl and red. Now, I've had, well, more pike on these than I care to think of. They're a Dropshot lure. I use them trying to target perch, but man, do I just get loads of pike on them. Now we've got this Spro Freestyle, and these ones are called the Hog 55, and it's the Spro Freestyle Urban Prey Hog 55, and this color is Citrus Disco. I mean, who comes up with this stuff? Now I've also got the Esox Dropshot split tails in Amber Nectar, and I've also got it in Natural Silverfish. Now they also do a paddle tail, which is these ones. There's a bit of a split in opinion when it comes to paddle tails and drop shots. I don't really rate paddle tails when it comes to drop shotting. I don't think you get the right action out of them. I prefer creature baits, split tails, worms, something that's going to give a lot of action with the minimum amount of movement. Whereas, as you know, a paddle tail kind of needs a lot of movement to get it going. We've also got the Gunky Boogie Craw. Again, who comes up with these names? I mean, I think they're brilliant, but yeah. And then there's also the Zed Man Lures. Now, some people call them Z-Man, some people call them, I call them Zed Man. So you've got the Zed Man Lures, like the Finesse TRDs. You got the Trd Bugs. Now, these lures, these Zed Man Lures, have a huge following. And because of the specialized plastic they're made out of, each one of these packets will set you back at least £5. So they're not cheap. But when I say they got a huge following, there's a reason for that. They work. Now, in my experience, I haven't had much on them, but I've not been using them very long. I've only recently started to experiment with them. So yeah, those are a few of the types of lures that you could really pick up on. Drop shot leads. Now this is a bugbear for most drop shot anglers, because you go and buy your leads and you spend £5 for a pack of 3, and you know, in a session you could lose 2 of them in a tree. Now that hurts your pocket. Go online and just type in drop shot leads. You can find them really cheap on the internet. I get mine from an online company. I won't mention the name because, you know, I don't want to, you know, just be name dropping all the time. But I get 50 leads for £10. So you do the maths. It's a lot more cost effective, and they get delivered to your door. You don't even know you need to go out and pick them up. So again, it doesn't need to be expensive. Fluorocarbon, yeah. If you want to use a brand like the Fox Drop and Jig, yeah, you're gonna be paying a bit of money for it. This stuff, I think it set me back £3 for the spool, and that's a 50-meter spool. I've had this spool for probably about 5 months, and oh, there's still loads on there. I won't need to stock up on fluorocarbon again for a while, because the nice thing about drop shotting is once you've made your rig, you don't have to dismantle it. You just break your rod down, put it into a rod sleeve, and the rig's ready to go next time you open the rod out. So this kind of stuff doesn't have to be expensive, doesn't have to be complicated. Simple rig, simple lures. Now I don't get me wrong, I do not claim to be a professional. I'm anything but. I'm still figuring this out myself. So yeah, give it a go. You know, you don't have to spend a lot of money for this stuff. You can get into this sport, you can get into lure fishing, and it doesn't have to be expensive. And the nice thing about what I like about lure fishing is it's light. You know, yeah, you look at me today. I stood up a minute ago. All I've got is this vest on, and I've just been pulling stuff out of this vest the whole time we've been talking. So you can carry a lot of stuff, but it weighs next to nothing. You know, you can chuck your vest and your rod into your car, and it'll just live in your car. It doesn't take up space. So whenever you see a nice bit of river or a bit of canal, or you're going on holiday, just chuck the rod in the car. It takes up no space, it's easy. When you get somewhere, you can just quickly whack out the rod, go for an hour's fishing, come back, chuck it back in the car, off you go again. You know, it doesn't require any planning. The other thing I like about lure fishing is it's clean. Now don't get me wrong, I enjoy carp fishing, I enjoy bait fishing, I even enjoy a bit of sea fishing from time to time. But the problem with all those styles of fishing in comparison to lure fishing is when you go carp fishing, unless you're using some citrusy flavoured fruity boilies, you're going to come back stinking of bait. And I mean, that stuff really stinks. Which doesn't bother me, but I'd prefer to not go home smelling, and my girlfriend prefers me coming home not particularly stinky too. So, you know, you can go home, you clean, your clothes are still fairly clean. There's not much unpacking to do. It's just really, really convenient. And you can get into some places like, you know, drop shotting. I go into boat yards all the time, and because I'm only dropping in the margins or a little flick out, the boat owners don't mind me being there because I'm not putting their boats at risk. Occasionally, you know, you'll come across someone who goes, "No, don't want you fishing here," and fine. You know, I don't have to pack up a lot of stuff. I'll just walk away. It's fine. Yeah, I don't mind. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits to giving lure fishing a go. And all I can say is, you know, get yourself, if you're just getting into this, get yourself a cheap rod, cheap reel. You know, you don't have to break the bank. It's something like a 1000 size reel, or even a 500 size series reel. You know, something small, because when you're casting all day and you're jigging all day, a heavy reel will start to take its toll on your wrist. After a day of holding a rod constantly, your wrist will start to get sore. The only place I wouldn't skip out on the cost is hooks. You want good quality hooks. So yeah, like I say, guys, I'll let you figure it out from there. But this is just a quick, well, actually no, it's not so quick. I've been talking for 23 minutes. But this is just a video to give you my opinion on drop shot fishing and where it is within the whole lure fishing spectrum. Yeah, thanks for listening. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment at the bottom. I'm still getting used to this whole videoing my fishing sessions and stuff. So if you can give me some feedback, tell me what sort of things you guys want to see. It's going to be primarily a lure fishing channel, but I'll do a bit more, you know, rig tips, lure tips, obviously fishing videos. In the summer, I'll be doing a lot on my kayak. So yeah, if you guys can give me some ideas as to what you're looking for, you know, when you want to watch a video, let me know and I'll see if I can cater to it. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers. Bye.